For decades, launching a national advertising campaign meant moving a small army. You rented the desert, hired hundreds of crew members, built massive camera rigs, and spent months in post-production to get 30 seconds of multi-million-dollar polish. In 2026, Kalshi ran an NBA Finals ad that looked like an AI fever dream. A single filmmaker generated the entire 30-second spot for $2,000, and it reached over 20 million people. For years, brands believed the only way to win was to scream the loudest, using high-end production value to force their way into the cultural conversation. That model is failing to reach modern audiences. In the B2B sector, enterprise pipelines are drying up because buyers have learned to ignore generic content drops and gated PDFs. Winning now requires a shift toward hyper-reactivity and signal-based targeting. It means breaking established rules to meet the audience where they are actually paying attention. Since the financial barrier to creating high-quality visuals has dropped to near zero, a large production budget no longer acts as a protective moat for a brand. AI has transitioned from a tool used for back-office data crunching to the literal star of consumer-facing campaigns. When Popeyes wanted to target a new McDonald's menu item, they didn't wait for a film crew. They generated a full rap music video called Rap Battle and pushed it live to a global audience. The value of the campaign was its timeline. The brand went from a concept to a global launch in less than 3 days. This speed allows a company to respond to a competitor's move before the cultural conversation shifts to something else. The strategy relies on using technology to execute moves that are physically impossible without it, moving past AI as a simple gimmick. In a market that moves this fast, reactive speed captures more value than a perfected campaign delivered months after the opportunity has passed. Traditional B2B marketing often relies on a calendar-based model, where companies push content at the market, regardless of whether a buyer is actually looking for a solution. High-performing teams are replacing that schedule with signal-based orchestration. Platforms like Common Room scan engagement data from Slack and Discord. The moment a prospect shows intent or asks a technical question, the system triggers a specific campaign tailored to that interaction. Loom uses these triggers to launch hyper-personalized account-based marketing. When one person shows interest, the system automatically reaches out to multiple stakeholders at that company simultaneously. This setup removes the delay of manual lead qualification, reaching the buyer while their problem is still top of mind. These are no longer one-off creative moments. They are continuous systems designed to identify and harvest existing demand. Physical brand marketing is seeing a similar shift through a concept called iconomics. This involves taking the recognizable assets a brand already owns and putting them to work in new ways, rather than paying to build new ones. Heinz applied this by redesigning the universal fast food fry box for the first time in 75 years. They added a specialized built-in compartment to hold ketchup, turning the package itself into the ad. Other brands are leaning into extreme minimalism. Guinness stripped away its logo to become a simple beer mat, and Columbia Sportswear's CEO challenged flat earthers to prove their theory to win the company. Stripping away the obvious corporate branding forces the audience to engage their own memory to fill in the gaps. By lowering the volume of the marketing, brands remove the corporate facade and create a bond that feels more like an invitation than an interruption. Interactive software demos, $2,000 AI spots, and redesigned cardboard fry boxes all function on the same logic. They prioritize immediate context and reactivity over the polished production value of the past. Because technology has made high-end visuals accessible to everyone, a massive production budget no longer provides a competitive advantage. The strength of a brand in 2026 lies in its execution architecture. It is the technical system used to detect market signals and deploy a response immediately. Stop focusing on how to make a campaign look expensive. Focus on building the systems that make your brand impossible to ignore.